All right, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing okay. Golden, how you doing, darling? This is another one that's, again, this is just for you. Uh, as I promised, this was, sorry it's a little late getting this, but again, I work so hard on this stuff, I just want to make sure it's, as accurate as I can possibly get it. But it also has to do with, you know, people have dreams and they have dreams, and then, my dreams are so strange. It's really strange. But anyway, they're somewhat entertaining nonetheless. So I'll try to get this going for you here and try to make it short. Um, but it is, it's not lengthy, but it's kind of mid-range there. We'll go ahead and get started with that, so I can, kind of tell you. This was like about a couple of nights ago. It would have been the night before, so it's about 3 nights ago now. Um, okay, but before I started to do that, Miss Golden, I wanted to ask you to remember, if you remember how the last one left off, and I don't know if you got the symbolism in there, but the the three cute little girls that I ran into that was just past the living room. If you remember, they looked like they were flying or floating underwater. If you remember, in water. Um, if you're, if let me put it this way: if you're a woman, of course I know you are, Golden Darling, but if you're a woman and you ask them about kids or babies and water, they'll know exactly what you're talking about. So that was another shocker in there for me, because I was like, why are they? And I quickly stopped laughing, but it was peaceful. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. But so here we go. We'll get started here. So if you remember where it left off, I had sat back down at the kitchen table, and that's when it kind of came to. But this is I don't know if I'm just continuing stuff on or whatever, but this one started right back there, and you were doing the same thing. Golden, you were on your laptop, and I finally, at least the way this goes, got to know what you were doing. And you were apparently looking at places for travel, like to go for vacation or whatever. And you had suggested to me, well, you know, and if you'll forgive me, Miss Golden, it just appears that we're either married or we're a couple or something. So because that's how the references go in this thing. So I'm just gonna say it just like I remember them. Okay. But you had punched up something on the laptop, and you said, "Look, babe, it's we can go to here, and it's only this much, and it's called, ironically, Golden." I was like Golden Paradise Retreat or Golden something. Golden Paradise Hotel or something. But anyway, so I was like, oh, great. And you were like, yeah, because people go there for, I guess, the sun and stuff. But you were like, look, and we can live by night. Now remember, this is my dream, so they're strange. Okay, so please forgive me, and please don't judge me. I'm just telling you what I remember. Uh, it says, look, we can live by night. So, okay. What, they have like a nice nightclub or something? Or she's like, well, the nightlife and stuff like that, which is okay. We'll do that. So the next thing I know, we're headed to the, because I can't really translate how the dreams actually transition, but next thing I know, we're on the way to the airport, and we're going. We get to the airport, and Golden Darling, you always dress so nice. You had it almost looked like you were part of like what I would call like a flight attendant's attire, but it was a very nice looking pantsuit, and um, you had a nice piece of luggage there, but you had a few more, and so did I. So uh, apparently, when we got to the check-in at the airport, I had realized that I had forgotten one. So you're like, well, babe, hurry up, go get it, because you were next. There was one person in front of us, and we're next. I said, okay. So I rushed back to where we parked the car, and I got the bag out, and I came back, and this is when it started to get a little strange, just like the other one was. But you were still, I guess the one person had gone now, so it's like we were next. And I get back, I have all the bags with me now, and you're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what do you mean, what do I do? I went to get the other bag. Here it is. We got everything now, And you're like, your pants? And I'm like, what about my pants? Well, when I looked down, my pants were on backwards. They were literally on backwards. And I I didn't take them off. It's just my dream, okay? So again, please forgive me. And I'm like, well, I didn't take them off and change them around, but you're like, well, and about that time they had called, our name, so we had to go up there, and and you were just like, oh my God. So yeah, that was nice to feel like I didn't have the chance or the time to explain that one to you, because I didn't even know myself, but thank God we proceeded. So anyway, we get to the counter, we do all that stuff. We go through the airport, we go to the gate, and we board the plane. And when we get to the plane, and we go through the doors of the door of the plane, you said, here's my stuff. Go ahead and sit down, and then, I'll call you when it's time for my break. This is where it gets strange again. And I'll call you when it's time for my break. I'm like, what break? I'm like, what are you doing? And Golden, you are like, well, I'm the co-pilot on this flight. And I'm like, what? She's like, I thought you knew. I'm the co-pilot on this flight. So look, I'll call you when it's time for my break, and we can go up in the lounge, and we can, have a drink or whatever. And so I'm lost already now, just like I was in the other thing. So I'm like, okay, I'll go sit down then, and I'll wait for your call. So she calls me up, or you, Ms. Golden, had called me up to the cockpit. So I was supposed to walk with you up to the lounge, which I did, but, of course, and then when I, had to show my ID and all that stuff to get up there, and believe it or not, you were now in your little pilot's uniform, your co-pilot's uniform, or whatever. And you're already undoing your seatbelt and everything. So I'm like, okay, well, that's, the other thing is when I got up there, I'm like, you didn't tell me you fly, was it you fly? And you're like, no, I fly a plane, but I don't fly. She's like, I thought I told you, and I'm like, no. Well, you might have. I don't know. This is, yeah, okay. Yeah, you might have. Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, I just didn't want to have to explain. Um. So anyway, we make our way up to the lounge, and even this part was kind of weird because the plane had this huge, like a 747 would have like an upstairs kind of lounge, but it was almost like bigger than the downstairs, and it was like a little more vaulted ceilings almost than the downstairs. Was strange, but again, just have room for it because it's my dream, so God only knows what you're gonna get. So this, we sit down and somebody brought us our drinks, and then this woman comes up to me and she says to me, and Golden Darlin, you're right there. But she comes up to me and says, enchanting eyes. And I'm like, what? She's like, enchanting eyes. And Golden, you're starting to get, because you knew about this. And I'm assuming it's because your previous flights or whatever. I don't know. And I'm like, well, thank you. You too. I get, and by this time you're already just like cracking up already, but you're not saying anything to me. So somebody please tell me what's going on. So, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And about that time, there was like another woman that walked up with her that had just about as much makeup as she had on. Looks very nice, and she's like, enchanting eyes. And I'm like, so about that time, she swung around this big little kind of, it was almost like an old Vegas style, like when they would sell cigarettes or something, but it was full of eye makeup and other kinds of makeup, blush and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. And you were like up here in the lounge, instead of like Avon, if you remember Avon or something, they sell this line of makeup to, whoever wants to buy it. And I'm like, well, why didn't they approach you? They say, because they know me. I'm like, well, they sell all kinds of their line of makeup and everything like that. And I'm like, oh. So when that was over with, I think it was time for you to go back to co-piloting or whatever. So you said, it's like, I gotta go, babe, so I'll, see you. Just go ahead and, go on back to your seat, and I'll see you when the flight's done. And I'm like, okay. And then if I remember correctly, and if you don't mind me saying so, it's like, how, like, girls that give, that quick little, peck of a kiss, so you gave me one of those, and that, of course, that made me very happy. But, right there, I'll just say right there, and I went back to my seat, and you went back to flying. And when I got back to my seat, for some reason, I guess the drink had made me sleepy. So I went to sleep. And I could have sworn, because this one's kind of foggy, but this is when we start layering stuff because, and again, it's just another strange thing. It's almost like I had a dream within my dream. It was just strange, just to say the least. But anyway, so finally when the flight was over, of course, she came back, and you're like, because I was still sleeping, you're like, babe, wake up, And I'm like, what? Okay, so now I knew where I was. So we make our way to the hotel now. And this is where there's some other strange stuff that went on, and there was a couple of strange points here too. So we get to the hotel, and you walk in, and this is one of the strange points was this, of course, and Golden Darlin, you know how what Beauty and the Beast kind of stands out if it's mentions, at least to you and I, okay? Well, as soon as we walked in the hotel, I mean, you talk about Beauty and the Beast, the two kinds that at least you and I know of. But in the original one, that's exactly what, they had a staircase in there, that's exactly what it looked like. Okay, and I was like, oh my God. And you two, you were like to yourself, but I heard it. You were like, oh my God, you know. But anyway, so we get there, and right away we come upon the first of the front desk people. And she had this sign that said, welcome, but it was strange, and neither one of us said anything, but the M in that sign seemed to have like this third leg or something, second or third leg. It was strange. You know, it was like a welcome. But anyway, I kind of just held my tongue until two more front desk clerks later, or front desk agents later. So he's like, you checking in? And we're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, it's just right over there. So we went to the second front desk agent, because that's where we thought, you know, the front desk was. And I guess we had kind of a nicer room or something. So she's saying, oh, you've got, you know, whatever it was. So yeah, you folks check in. It's kind of like a first class check-in. It's like, you folks you check-in right over there, and they'll take you right up. And so we went to check in, and they ended up taking us right up. But the strange thing about this front desk agent was the one that checked us in. For some reason, she didn't have a name tag on. And she was, there was a big clock in the back of her. And, you know, she's like, are you checking in? And of course you were like, yes, we've got a reservation under Golden, you know. And I was like, wow. So I was like, thanks, babe, you made the I didn't have to do anything there. But I kind of myself mentioned to that front desk agent, I'm like, because I saw the clock and I saw the time it said. And I think you can see it here, but it was like, I think it was 10 after 10 or something, but it was one of those perfect splits. But I'm like, let me guess. And I was just joking, you know. I said, let me guess, your name's Alice, right? And she's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, I'm supposed to be off duty. My relief person hasn't shown up yet, so I went ahead and took my name tag off. I'm so sorry. And of course, both of us were like, no, that's fine. You know, that's fine. We don't mind, you know. But all that came to mind was because that clock in the back, and she said, you know, I'm already late because I'm supposed to be off duty, and I'm supposed to be meeting somebody, you know, in like 20 minutes, and I'm so late, but I'll go ahead and check you folks in, no problem. And this is after now. This is after she's like, but yeah, my name's Alice. I could not believe it. And this is, I guess, my dream kind of just, you know, going the way, I don't know, I wanted or thought it would go or something. But I was absolutely, again, I don't get shocked, but in my dreams, for some reason, I end up getting really, really shocked because I was just joking. You know, I said, let me guess, your name's Alice. Because I saw the clock. She was saying, I'm late. I'm supposed to be meeting somebody. That's why I took off my name tag. I apologize to you folks so deeply. I'm so deeply sorry. We're like, okay. But she's like, but yeah, my name's Alice. I could not believe that. So anyway, and I had started to mention to you, Golden Darlin, I was mentioning, did you see this? Do you see all this? And the sign back there. Did you see that the M had there was like or 3 legs or something, you know. And you're like, shh, I'm trying to finish the rest of the chicken. So I'm like, okay, sorry. But anyway, we got finished with that, and they ended up taking us to the room. And this was where we're almost done here, because this was a long dream. They took us to the room, and it was a very nice room. It was a view of the sunset and everything. And about maybe 5 minutes later, and this is again where it gets strange again, because the bellman, or the bellhop, what do they call them, bellhop, that handle your bags. So he knocks on the door, we let him in, and he had this, you know, he had our bags, but in the same uniform he had this little monkey on his shoulder. Anyway, the monkey, the strange part of it was, of course, you know, I tipped him and everything and thanked him for bringing everything up. But I'm like, you know, to you, I'm like, did you see that? And she's like, oh yeah, the monkey was cute. I'm like, no. Well, yeah, I mean, the monkey was cute and everything. But it seemed like the monkey's pants were on backwards. And I'm like, what is happening, man? You know, but I didn't quite go that far. When you're like, oh yeah, the monkey, yeah, it was cute. I'm like, I wanted to say it, but I couldn't. So I didn't want to look any worse. So I'm like, okay, well, okay. All right, so anyway, so Golden, Darlin, you had said, you had told me, you're like, look, I'm gonna go take a shower, babe, and I'll be right back, you know. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just rest while you're doing that, because I'm kind of tired too. She's like, yeah, you do look like you could, I mean, you talking to me, you're like, you do look like you could use a good sleep. So I'm like, you know, well, yeah, I probably would, because, you know, there's several things here that have happened, and I can't explain it, and half of them I didn't mention them to you, so I didn't want to, like I said, look any worse than I would have. But anyway, so we're almost done here, and then, so here's what happened. So I go in and end up falling asleep, and again, and I can't remember, it was kind of foggy, but it's almost like I dreamt a dream within my dream. And this one I kind of remember. If I can recall it clearly, I'll tell you about it, okay? I'll tell you about that, because it was, the little bit that I do remember, it was stranger. But anyway, so I had woken up because I could hear that you had finished your shower and you had, you know, cut the water off and you were getting ready to come out. So I got up and was going to go, you know, just make sure you were okay and everything. And when I went past the TV turned on. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, they've got one of these, I guess, sensor things where the TV comes on if you're moving around or something. I don't know. And I'll just tell you this one last part, because it's the last thing that happened. It's the last strange thing that happened, thank God. But when the TV clicked on, it was, I call her my Earth Mama, but it was my mom. And she said, she's like, hey, she's like, have you eaten yet today? Have you gotten enough to eat today, or something like that? And I was like, you can see me? And Golden, Darlin, I'm so sorry to explain this. You know, I call her my Earth Mama. She passed on, you know, it was quite a while back. So that's why I was a little shocked, just to say the least, you know. And I was like, yeah, I think I've had enough, at least for now. But you can see me? And she, not expecting an answer, you know, and she's like, yeah, with my eyes. And I could not believe it. So I had the most shocked look on my face. And about that time, here you come out of the door, and you're like, babe, what's the matter? You look like you've seen a ghost. And I'm like, I think I just did. I don't know what's happening right now. So I didn't try to go that much into it. So I'm like, I'm just gonna, like, I'm gonna go back and lay down just for a little bit longer, okay? And you're like, okay, I gotta dry my hair and everything. So when I went back to rest and lay down, that's when I came to. That's when I came to, I mean, for real, you know, like into reality as we know it. And that was the end of that dream, or my dream that was about 3 nights ago or so. And I did want to share that with you. And I'm so sorry it took so long, but I did want to share it with you because I don't know why, but I have the strangest, and I mean the strangest dreams. But again, it was, you know, Golden Darlin, I'm just going to tell you, it was so peaceful and it was fun, even though I saw the strangest things. And it dawned on me, and because when we got there, there was a golden sun that was in our view, in our window view, you know. And, you know, when I came to, just like the other dream, you know, after I thought about it, which I became more shocked at that one, this one, but it was peaceful and it was, you know, it just felt like it belonged, like I said, you know. This one was kind of had a deeper meaning because I thought about it when I woke up, and I'm like, wait a minute. You said you're the co-pilot on this flight. You're the co-pilot on this flight, you know, and I don't know how you would resonate that, but I sure did. And that's, I guess, why it felt kind of safe and peaceful, like it was, you know, my co-pilot kind of thing. And I thought it was very sweet. And there was a couple of other things in there that, you know, like I said, when I say it it felt so peaceful and like it, you know, like it belonged. You know, that's kind of what I was getting at. Especially when it ended with that golden sunset. Even though I was running into all that strange stuff, I couldn't believe you had asked me, you look like you've seen a ghost. And I'm like, I don't know what to call that if you see it in the TV. I don't know, like Alice, right? Through the looking glass, right? I don't know. But anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you. And that's when I laid back down to rest. That's when I came to here. So, anyway, I'll try to end this right here so it's not too long. And you know, if anybody else is listening, you know, I just want you to know I love you very much, each and every one of you. And Golden Darlin, you know how I feel about you. I love you so very much. And thank you so much, even though maybe you had no idea about it. But thank you so much for giving me these, you know, two, you know, very entertaining, but very peaceful and very, you know, very nice dreams. And thank you so much for doing that. Even though, like I said, you might not be aware of it, but thank you. And it was just, like I said, there's some things that I have no words for. But I hope you know what I mean, darling. Okay, so this was another gift just for you, and I will leave it right here. And I hope everybody will stay safe. And Golden Darling, you stay safe, and please take care of yourself. God bless you, and I will talk to you again real soon here, okay? Take care, okay? God bless you. Bye-bye.